That is the promise of CBS News.
This is CBS.
Angry Eden Prairie citizens descend on the Metropolitan Council to fight landfill expansion.
The little town of Lakeland learns that more than half of its wells are contaminated.
And Attorney General Humphrey is upset by the lack of response from Northwest Airlines to consumer complaints.
Stories coming up on the 6 p.m. report.
Rake in the savings during Big Bear Family Center's autumn sale.
Union Polygrain and Snow Scoop with 29-inch big D-grip handle is unbreakable and lightweight, only $9.99. Union Wheelbarrow with long-lasting polyethylene tray, 5 3/4 cubic foot capacity, only $57.88.
Sylvania light bulbs in 40, 60, 75, or 100 watts, 2 twin packs, 98 cents after rebate.
Save at your Big Bear Family Center nearest you.
In designing the Volkswagen Fox, we could have done what some did. Cut the standard features and offered less car for less money. We could have engineered a small car that looked good, but offered nothing in the way of pure driving excitement. We could have, but we didn't. We'd never pull a stunt like that. That isn't the Volkswagen way.
At $59.90, the Fox is a great value at your Twin Cities Volkswagen dealer.
Tonight, the story of a landfill that has some Eden Prairie residents fighting mad.
WCCO Television presents Dave Moore, Colleen Needles, Mike Fairborn, and Mark Rosen. This is the 6 p.m. report.
Good evening, everyone. 2 stories of people and their environment top tonight's local report.
Some Eden Prairie residents are trying to block the expansion of a landfill near their homes, and we'll have their story in a moment. But first, the story of some people in Lakeland, Minnesota, who have learned their drinking water is hazardous to their health. Almost 200 wells are contaminated with cancer-causing chemicals. Tonight, Daryl Savage reports on a big problem that's getting bigger.
City Hall has a drinking fountain in front of it. Unlike the water in many homes, it's safe to drink. Many city basements look like warehouses for the Culligan man, because drinking from the tap long-term could be a fatal mistake.
My biggest worry is our kids, because you wonder, you know, they're drinking it from the time they're born, and you wonder just what's in it and how much.
The Pollution Control Agency told Torning's family not to drink the water. Like nearly 80 other households, the state legislature is paying for their weekly delivery of bottled water. For 5 months, people in the city have been living this way.
To me, that tells me this has been down here for many, many years. And I guess that's what scares me more.
Environmentalists say you'd have to drink 2 liters of water a week for 70 years to be affected. Still, these wells mark danger. Lakeland is not panicking, but the people here are concerned. That's only natural when the Pollution Control Agency comes up to you and says, "That water you've been drinking, it's got several hazardous chemicals in it."
I believe it is probably the most widespread private well contamination problem in the state right now.
The contaminants may have seeped from gas stations into the groundwater. Chemical spills and dumping may be another reason. Property may soon go cheap here. And until a solution is found, the government can't do anything except pass out the bottles. Daryl Savage, WCCO Television News, Lakeland.
Once the Pollution Control Agency pinpoints where the pollutants are coming from, it will try to devise a new water storage system there. Tonight, a committee of the Metropolitan Council is considering a proposed expansion of one of the area's largest landfills located in Eden Prairie. The Flying Cloud landfill is just about filled up and wants to double its capacity to handle solid waste. But residents who claim the landfill is unsafe boarded buses this afternoon to pack the committee meeting in St. Paul. They claim the landfill has already contaminated groundwater and that the owner, Browning Ferris Industries, cannot be trusted to run a clean landfill.
Don't add insult to injury with an expansion. I have been told by 2 groundwater hydrologists that we can expect increased cases of colds and allergies in people living in our situation. Remember, we're talking about a landfill in a residential area where many people live.
Water contamination won't occur because the houses in the neighborhood, that is to the east side, are all on the city well system, the city water system, so that no contamination will result.
Today's committee vote is only a recommendation. The full Metropolitan Council will have the final say at a meeting in early December.
The man who owns the Young Quinlan building in downtown Minneapolis has filed a $10 million lawsuit against the city. Bob Greenberg says he's not interested in the city's plans to buy the historic building and incorporate it into a controversial new retail complex on the Lakeland Mall. Mr. Greenberg rather says he has plans of his own, including a Ralph Lauren store in the building and a 41-story office tower behind it. Former Minneapolis police officer Dennis Nordstrom was sentenced today to 45 days in the county workhouse on felony theft charges. Nordstrom was fired from the police department last year after pleading guilty to writing bad checks. Other charges are still pending against him, against Nordstrom, including a DWI arrest just 2 days ago. Today, a current Minneapolis police officer, Tim Savior, was found not guilty of assault charges. Last February, while off duty, Savior fired warning shots at 3 alleged gang members. He says he did it to protect himself because he says he thought one of the men had a knife. Murder charges filed today against 31-year-old Royal Sanford, who was arrested near Duluth this morning after a 5-day search. Sanford is accused in the beating death of an Asante man, Ronald Egan, last weekend.
A Minneapolis truck driver has been shot and killed in Minot, North Dakota. Police say he pulled into a grain elevator late last night and apparently surprised a burglar who opened fire. The driver has not yet been identified. The gunman got away. Robbinsdale police are holding a man in connection with a shooting there last night. Police say 22-year-old Elizabeth Ann Brommel was shot by a man who waited outside her apartment. The man surrendered to police later. Brommel is hospitalized. The year's first winter storm has taken 2 lives. 35-year-old Carol Miller of Plymouth was struck and killed on a snow-covered road in New Hope early this morning. And 53-year-old Ronald Jaworski of Lino Lakes was killed when he lost control of his semi-truck on an icy stretch of I-35 near Faribault.
In Detroit, new testimony today at hearings into the August crash of Northwest Flight 255, in which 156 people perished. Alan Cox has been covering those hearings. He joins us live now from Detroit. Alan?
Dave, more details tonight about a warning system that might have saved Flight 255 if it had worked. The takeoff warning system is intended to call out alarms with a recorded woman's voice. The alarms would be, for instance, flaps, if the wing flaps were not deployed on the flight, as some evidence suggests they were not. There's no such alarm recorded on the cockpit voice recorder, but 2 hours before the disaster, another pilot was riding in the cockpit with 255's crew, and before he got off the plane, he heard a warning.
I only heard this flaps, at about that pace, and just those 2 times. It didn't elicit any response from the crew. They didn't look at each other. They didn't seem to be alarmed by it.
That was an alarm when there was no danger. 2 hours later, there would be danger, but no alarm. A circuit breaker may have failed or been pulled by the crew. The FAA has started to investigate whether the warning system needs improvement. The pilots' union believes the investigation should be speeded.
Of how many incidences or accidents that we have to be involved in before the FAA will consider elevating the warning system to an essential system. I think the FAA is conscious of the sensitivity of this, otherwise they wouldn't form a special review team.
Tomorrow, the hearings will end with testimony on what's called human factors, what's known about the condition of the crew before the crash. Captain John Moss was a Republic pilot who had to be retrained for a less desirable jet because of the merger. The man who handled his retraining thought Moss might be a problem, but ended up writing a commendation.
But I felt like John did such a nice job and came down with a good positive attitude and certainly well prepared for the training and subsequent check that I wanted to make that a matter of his records. I didn't know they were going to be quite so famous at the time.
Tonight at 10, Dave, we'll hear comments from the captain's wife.
Thank you, Alan. The State Attorney General had some harsh words today and a threat for Northwest Airlines. That story is next.
Here at Towsley Subaru, we hogged the whole commercial last time to tell you about our last blast sale. So you go ahead, Chet.
Thank you. Here at Towsley Ford, we have over 1,000 vehicles to choose from. Over 150 four-wheel drives on sale. Look, full-size F-150 four-wheel drive, only $10,995, or just $219 a month. Used cars, a huge selection with sale prices on every one. And with last blast sale prices on all remaining 87s here at Towsley Ford in White Bear Lake.
You didn't leave me any time to talk about Subaru.
Ever since your post office invented express mail overnight delivery, others have tried to copy our Eagle, but it's not so easy. You see, express mail overnight reliability is close to perfect with the most convenient locations and prices as low as $10.75. About half what most others charge. So we're pretty hard to imitate. So use the original express mail service from your post office.
The neighbor on the right bought the Toro CCR 2000 last year, which prompted his neighbor to the left to get one this year. He soon discovered that it was compact, easy to handle, yet had the power to clear 12 inches of heavy snow. He also discovered that while this Toro with the unique curved rotor would throw snow 30 feet to the left, it would also throw it to the right.
CCR 2000s guaranteed to start in 2 pulls. Gruber Hardware, Cedar Small Engine, Bitts Hardware, Hank.
Of all the leading brands of kidney and chili beans, only Butter Kernel contains nothing artificial. Butter Kernel, the natural choice.
Today, Attorney General Skip Humphrey issued an ultimatum to Northwest Airlines.
He threatened legal action unless the airline responds quickly to growing consumer complaints. Humphrey says he's tired of waiting for Northwest to answer his private attempts to correct consumer problems. So today he brought his message to a very public place. Pat Kessler reports.
With a ticket counter as his backdrop, the Attorney General said he's waited long enough for Northwest to respond to its customers.
We need to have some action, and the action needs to come from Northwest. Otherwise, it's going to come from Skip Humphrey, Attorney General.
The Minnesota-based airline is the target of frequent complaints about late or canceled flights, lost and damaged luggage, and slow refunds. Just last Monday, Northwest paid a record $325,000 fine for violating federal consumer protection rules. And Humphrey says the airline could go a long way toward correcting its troubled image by installing a toll-free hotline, a 24-hour consumer service agent, and a consumer on the board of directors. If it does not act, Humphrey threatened unspecified legal action.
But we need some action. It is time that consumers and customers of this airline be responded to.
Northwest refused comment today. A spokesman said if there is a response, we'll handle it in the normal course of business. Northwest recently appointed a director of customer relations, saying it hopes to respond to consumer complaints within 7 days. Pat Kessler, WCCO Television News.
Humphrey is an unannounced candidate for the United States Senate.
The FBI has reportedly joined the investigation into Duluth Mayor John Fido. The Duluth News-Tribune and Herald broke that story this morning. The paper said the FBI has confirmed that it's looking into Mayor Fido's acceptance of more than $13,000 to buy some inside political information. Some 50 bargain hunters made some cool deals on a lot of hot ice today, baby. Hundreds of pieces of recovered jewelry were auctioned off by Minneapolis police. Many of the unclaimed watches, rings, and silver had been in storage since 1982. Today's big sale was an 18-karat gold Rolex watch bought by a St. Paul man for $4,500. The watch retails for $7,000. Proceeds from the auction total were told about $17,000, most of which will go into the police pension fund.
Some of us find it hard to get a good night's sleep because of aches, pains, stress. We need relief. Ideally, something natural. For troubled sleepers around the world, the answer is Wool Rest. A layer of pure wool fleece, shaggy fibers so resilient they cushion and comfort sensitive joints and muscles. Wool Rest helps you sleep longer, deeper, to wake more refreshed. Why spend another sleepless night when there's a natural solution? Exclusively at Dayton's.
Christmas is for surprises. If you're looking for surprising money-saving ideas for Christmas, just look in Hardware Hank's Christmas Gift Guide. You'll see a micro-go-round to automatically rotate food, this 3-speed humidifier from Bemis, and a desk or wall-mount telephone from ITT. And that's just the start, because Hank has a lot more surprises.
The biggest Chevy
your sale of the year. Chevy Thunder. This week at your Twin Cities area Chevy team. Last chance on special signature, specially made Chevy Thunder 4x4. Buy now, get this exclusive Thunder package. $995 retail value. No charge. 4x4 Beaver. The largest inventory in history. At each and every one of your Twin Cities area Chevy team dealers. A sale so big, it crushes the competition. Chevy Thunder.
You've probably heard about the Wholesale Club, where people who operate restaurants, service stations, stores, and churches buy merchandise at prices below their normal suppliers. Listen to what they have to say about the Wholesale Club.
Good prices and a lot of variety. We buy all of our business supplies here and so much cheaper than any place else.
I come for the prices.
Come in and rediscover the world of wholesale buying at the Wholesale Club. Oh, where do you think service stations buy these?
Burnsville, White Bear Lake, Inver Grove Heights, and Fridley.
So much for winter. That's it, huh?
Well, the sun came out and made it feel not quite so bad, didn't it?
I wonder if we are heading for a repeat of next year.
Well, I know we cheated Mother Nature today. On the average, this happens to be the cloudiest day of the year. We ordinarily have only about 33% of possible sunshine, and we've whomped the heck out of that with sunshine almost all day long. Didn't warm up a great deal because most of the energy from that sun was melting what little bit of snow fell yesterday. We'll have another chance of some snow overnight and toward morning the way things are looking right now. High temperature today, 35 degrees. 39 is the average high. A low of 23 overnight last night, and no precipitation now in the past 24 hours. Satellite picture shows a couple of areas that we're watching. One down here to the south, they're getting some snow in parts of Oklahoma and eastern Texas, and a little short wave or a little disturbance that's coming down over us from the Dakotas, and it's going to spread some clouds over us by morning, and a possibility at least of some flurries here in the south. Up in the north, from Duluth northward up into the Arrowhead area, as much as 1 to 3 inches of snow. There's where the precipitation is falling, and yes, snow as far south as Oklahoma. Earliest they've had snow down there in a number of years, and much of the rest of the country enjoying fairly decent weather anyway. Tomorrow's weather map, high pressure pushing down. The little disturbance that's going to move through us is going to move through fairly fast. We'll have increasing clouds toward morning, a chance of some flurries in the morning, and by afternoon, back into sunshine. We may even warm up a little bit more because we don't have to spend so much sunshine's energy melting the snow. It's almost already gone. 30 degrees over a big area of southern Minnesota tomorrow, 20s up to the north. You can see there's fairly cool air all the way down to the Gulf Coast with temperatures in the 60s all the way down into northern Florida. We're clear right now. Our temperature's 31 degrees, humidity 88%, winds are south at 8, have a dew point of 28, and the barometer is 30.14, and it's falling. Our forecast tonight will be partly cloudy. We should drop down to around 21 degrees for an overnight low with west to southwest winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Then tomorrow we'll have cloudy skies in the morning, a few flurries, and then clearing in the afternoon. 37 degrees for a high again with northwest winds around 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tomorrow night mostly clear and 18, and for Friday it'll be mostly sunny with a high temperature of 37. Weekend right now shaping up like this. A chance of some showers on Saturday, either rain or snow, or maybe even some rain and snow mixed. 42 for a high temperature. A little bit cooler on Sunday, but Sunday looks like maybe the best day out of the weekend. And then Monday, another chance of some rain and some snow showers. And we've been changing a little of the winter terminology, Colleen. Tonight at 10 o'clock, we'll take a look at some of the terms that we'll be using this winter.
Okay, Mike, we look forward to it. Thanks. Well, it would cost the Minnesota Zoo $1.5 million to modernize its whale tank. A water quality expert told zoo officials their current whale tank has major flaws. For one, the outdated filtering system means sick animals share the same water as healthy ones. Minnesota's 2 belugas were shipped to San Diego when one of them got very ill this spring.
Minnesota is about to get a pro basketball team in Rochester. Mark Rosen with the story in a moment.
Rake in the savings during Big Bear Family Center's autumn sale.
The ultra-free automotive battery is the ultimate and provides 650 cold cranking amps. It features a high-impact construction, dual-terminal configuration, and an easy carry handle. The ultra-free battery for the power and durability your car needs, now sale priced at $64.99 with exchange.
Save at your Big Bear Family Center nearest you.
A public defender taken hostage.
Here, call an ambulance. Police officer, freeze!
A bank robbery foiled. A bachelor party wasted.
You better stop him, man.
It's It's a day of rage on Hill Street Blues.
Let him go! Yes, stick! I'll kill you!
Twin Cities come back to the hill tonight on Channel 4.
Bo Pilgrim's 40 years of chicken experience brings you the real chicken tender.
I'll put it right up there with marriage and my first bicycle.
Pilgrim's Pride delicious chicken tenders are 100% real breast meat.
My chickens are raised with good taste.
Real chicken, you'll taste the difference.
In 40 years of messing with chickens, I've never seen anything like it.
Also try Pilgrim's Pride nuggets, patties, and other chicken treats.
Look for my picture on the package.
Pilgrim's Pride, the real chicken.
Wilson has a ham that's new. It's leaner, better tasting too. Only Wilson's ham will make you say, Wilson.
And Wilson gives you this guarantee right on the package. Find a leaner, better tasting ham, and we'll give you a full refund.
New Wilson ham is extra lean. It's leaner than you've ever seen. Only Wilson ham will make you say, Wilson.
National League's MVP Player of the Year. Here's a guy that every team in the National League had a chance to bid on, and they could fill in their own figure. And who gets them but the Cubs?
I think about the team like the Dodgers, Dave, for instance. They draw 3 million people a year, have all that money. They say, no, we don't want to sign Andre Dawson. We don't need him, right? Well, let's face it. Some baseball people agreed the Cubs would have been a double-A club if it wasn't for Andre Dawson. He was better than good. He was the most valuable player in the National League. The first time it's happened on a last-place team. 49 home runs and a major league-leading 137 RBIs. Capped a great season for Dawson. Probably the first time a player of his quality let his club determine his salary. Dawson was determined to play more day games and on natural grass. That's why the Cubs in Wrigley Field were perfect for the 33-year-old outfielder. Incidentally, the Cubs penned a figure of $500,000 for Dawson's 1987 salary. Next year, well, maybe quadrupled by then. The pennant-winning Cardinals placed 2 of their own in the top 3, Ozzie Smith and Jack Clark. Dawson and the 2 Clarks, Jack and Will of San Francisco, were the only players named on all 24 ballots. The Expos' Tim Wallach finished 4th. Well, Dawson joins Ernie Banks, Chuck Klein, Hank Sauer, and Rod Carew as the only players from losing teams to win the MVP. Banks won in 58 and 59 with the Cubbies. Keane won it with Philadelphia back in 1930. Well, this is really the time of year when the Big 3 University of Minnesota sports cross seasons. The football team retains its hopes of a bowl bid, playing at Iowa on Saturday. The hockey team, leading the WCHA, is in the midst of its season, and Clem Haskins' U of M basketball team is working their pants off, getting ready to tip off its season Monday night at Williams Arena. Haskins is starting his 2nd season on solid ground after taking over a program that needed a complete overhaul. Remember, they won their first 2 Big Ten games, then lost 16 straight, but Haskins gained a lot of respect with the way he handled his players. Improvement will come from a solid group of sophomores. Sophomores like Willie Burton here, who has made a terrific recovery from arthroscopic knee surgery and may start Monday night against Brandon College. Jim Chickenjansky, 6'10" center, added a lot of muscle to his already solid 6'9", 230-pound frame. Perhaps their most talented offensive player will be number 20, Melvin Newbern here. Ineligible last year because of Proposition 48, Newbern is a rugged 6'4" guard who will start the season as a reserve, but should give the Gophers instant offense. Their most impressive freshman, no stranger to Minnesota basketball fans, Kevin Lynch, who led Bloomington Jefferson to 2 straight titles. Lynch has impressed Haskins with his vision on the court. We'll see a lot of playing time in the preseason. Monday's game against Brandon College of Manitoba, Canada, goes in the books as an exhibition game. 7 o'clock start Monday at Williams Arena. It's been 18 years since there was pro basketball in Minnesota, but tomorrow night in Rochester will be resumed by the Rochester Flyers of the Continental Basketball Association. The Flyers tuned it up with a final workout at the Mayo Civic Auditorium today. Their opponent will be the Lacrosse Catbirds. Don't look for a lot of big names. David Thirdkill, formerly with the Celtics, you might recognize. The coach, Bill Klukas, was an assistant under Bill Musselman with the Gophers in the early 70s. The Flyers have sold 1,200 season tickets, expect 4,000 tomorrow night. The Flyers are not an entirely new team. They actually moved from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Tom Hanneman was in Rochester today, and he'll take a closer look at the Flyers and get some reaction from Rochester residents tonight at 10. To paraphrase an old saying, what if they held a soccer match and no one came? It wasn't quite that bad, but only 2,800 diehards braved the bad weather to enjoy a sparkling performance by the Strikers. Coming up, watch this great effort by number 8, the Strikers' Mike Sweeney. After stealing the ball, his shot and goal is blocked, but Sweeney uses his head for the unassisted goal, his 3rd in 3 games. Gary Etherington added another tally and a free kick. When the team saw the small crowd, goaltender Tino Terry declared they'd make their own atmosphere. It was a big win because the Strikers begin a 4-game road trip Saturday in L.A. and, of course, the North Stars tonight in Chicago. And that's always exciting in the Chicago Stadium.
Right. Thank you, Mark. In a moment, some Twin Cities youngsters go to great lengths to get adults to kick the habit. We'll be back with the story in a moment.
Our buyer goofed. Our loss is your gain. 20% off manufacturer's suggested retail price. Bargains galore. You want it? We got it. Regular only $19.99. Now only $19.98. We're practically giving it away. We buy in volume and pass the savings on to you. The bosses on it too.
Knox, our prices are driving our competition into the ground.
Get your house ready for the holidays. Save on paint, tools, hardware, decorating supplies, and more during the Knox pre-holiday sale. On now.
Hey, this trip I'll get this travel tote free. And just in time.
Budget Rent-A-Car announces free Pierre Cardin luggage for frequent flyers.
I love this garment bag. Just a few more trips and I'll get another one. For my husband.
The more you rent from Budget, the more luggage you get free.
I travel a lot.
So we got this whole set in no time.
Now, in addition to fine cars at low rates, frequent flyers have 9 more reasons to frequent Budget. Call for details.
Yearning for the days that used to be, learning some things can always be.
For Playdex was our daddy's choice.
His weed-free cornfield always gave us pride, and though the farm passed to our hands, Playdex is still our choice.
Hurry up! Go!
Weed-free cornfields give us pride.
Playdex, the more that farming's changing, the more it stays the same.
At Hagen Office Equipment, you'll discover lots of good reasons to buy an Apple II GS family computer, like the remarkably vivid color graphics, the incredible sound, or the vast array of software to help your family learn, plan, create, and have hours of fun. But the best reason for your family to own an Apple II GS just might be, well, you get the picture.
Wow!
Hagen Office Equipment, the Apple specialists.
Wheel spinners, wheel grinners, wheel winners. Next,
I'm a wheel watcher.
be a wheel watcher
I'm a wheel watcher.
on Channel 4.
Every day.
The children of Adams Elementary School in Coon Rapids are using all the gimmicks to launch their Adopt a Smoker program. First, the school is awash in signs to remind everyone that smoking is out. Then aerobics. Each of the 300 students will sign a contract with a friend or relative who will agree to stop smoking for 6 weeks.
Smoking's out. It's not cool. If you smoke, you're a fool.
And then the massive balloon launch to send the message out to the community.
Tonight on the 10 p.m. report, our annual survey of Twin Cities grocery stores to see which ones offer the best bargains. This year, the 3 stores with the lowest prices were within $1.50 of each other for the 50 items on our shopping list. Jim Newman's 4-Year Money Report tonight at 10 here on Channel 4. Also at 10, a dream in the making in Mounds View. 700 students at the Pinewood Elementary School spent the day planning the playground of their fantasy, a land complete with dragons, castles, and race cars. It's more than wishful thinking, though. A man they call the Pied Piper of Playgrounds plans to turn those dreams into reality. I'll tell you how tonight on the 10 p.m. report.
That's tonight's 6 p.m. report. Thank you, and good night.
Decorate the holidays for your family and friends with great gifts from True Value Hardware stores. The Nordic Ware Mini Micro Go-Round heats food evenly and is only $8.99. The Daisy Quartz Tronic Toaster also holds pastry and rolls and is just $18.99 less a $3 mail-in rebate. And the ThermoServe Cake Server Plus has an ice well in the base to keep snacks fresh. It's only $7.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
An old-fashioned Christmas from Snyder's, your Old Corner drugstore for today. Just in time for the holidays, you'll save 25% on all CoverGirl cosmetics and makeup mates. Save $3 on the 3-pack of Kodak VRG 35mm 100-speed film, $6.99 after rebate. Perfect for holiday snacking is a 3.5-ounce package of Act 2 microwave popcorn, 2 for 89 cents. For all your holiday needs, shop Snyder's, the Old Corner drugstore for today.
We'd like you to meet the people who helped us win more journalism awards last year than any other Minnesota newspaper.